She woke up from her nap to the tons of pizza in her room, and she thought it was great. She ended up having 3 slices and had a party with all of her friends, and there was music playing, and she had a great time. It's really brought us a lot of hope and encouragement in such a time of despair for our family. My name is Lauren Hammersley. I'm Hazel's mom. And first, I want to thank the St. Baldrick's Foundation for allowing me the honor of sharing my daughter's story today. As Kathleen said earlier, every 2 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer worldwide. That's more than 700 families every single day. And they hear the words, "Your child has cancer." And in April 2013, our family became one of those families. She had a large tumor in her abdomen about the size of a small melon. And the doctors weren't sure what kind of cancer it was, but they ended up diagnosing it with neuroblastoma. She was diagnosed stage 3, high-risk neuroblastoma, which means it didn't spread, it didn't go throughout her body, but she was a very high risk of relapsing or spreading throughout treatment. So she was treated as if she was stage 4, so very aggressively, which included 6 rounds of week-long chemotherapy treatments. She had a 9-hour surgery to take the tumor out of her body, which left her with a scar across her belly, which she's very proud of, but it's, you know, something that'll be there for her lifetime. And then she went through a stem cell treatment, which was very challenging. It actually almost took her life in the process of trying to save it. She was in the ICU for 3 weeks in a medically induced coma, and we weren't sure if she was going to pull through, but by the grace of God and through the medicine and the doctor's help, she pulled through. And she came out, but she wasn't able to walk, talk, swallow. So we stayed inpatient in rehab, where she was getting rehab services 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And that was speech, occupational, and physical therapy. And she pulled through. We came home on Christmas Eve, and that was glorious. But after that, she had to continue on, and she had 20 days of radiation and then 6 months of immunotherapy. In June 2014, Hazel was finally deemed cancer-free and left that inpatient floor for what we thought would be the last time. Her baby sister Zoe was born only 2 weeks later. Now, family of 7, our family enjoyed a life free from cancer, aside from the constant fear and anxiety that would come up every 3 months. And it lasted a glorious 2.5 years.
4 years ago, Hazel was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, one of the most common childhood cancers. She went through every round of therapy you can imagine: surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and doses of drugs far larger than any small body should be forced to endure.
Well, we have a lot of stuff.
As she played waitress for her mom and her new friend, Susan Hurd. Hurd's son David was also diagnosed with neuroblastoma. She now travels the country helping to get funding for childhood cancer research.
It's so nice to see you.
And her bond with Lauren was almost instant.
I think we can look in each other's eyes and see the same pain and the same hurt and the same disbelief, but we can also see the same joy and the same hope that we have that things are getting better. And in August 2016, just 2 weeks before our inaugural Ever After Ball that benefits the St. Baldrick's Foundation, our world was shattered once again when her scans revealed that her cancer had come back. Relapse was a really big blow. You know, the first time she was diagnosed, it was really difficult, but you had a plan and you were in the fight, and you kind of went into this fight mode, and there was this hope that there was an end and that they could reach a cancer-free diagnosis. But when you relapse, there really isn't a plan for relapse neuroblastoma patients because there's no known protocol or no known cure. So for us, I feel like it was so much more difficult to navigate because we didn't know when it would be over or how it would be over. It could have been over with a loss of life, or it could have been over with her being cancer-free, or it could have never been over and her just be on treatment indefinitely. But the second time you're diagnosed, the fear is of the known, because you know what you've already been through, and it was really, really tough. And so you're thinking, I'm going to go through all of that again, and I don't know how I'm going to survive it again. And then there's also the knowledge of what relapse means, And when you're in the world for so long, you have a knowledge of what that means. When you're first diagnosed, you don't know anything about relapse and all of that. Like, that's not what's on your mind. But when you're protecting your child when they're cancer-free for 2 years, that's all that's on your mind. So you're reading up on statistics, you're reading up on studies of new treatments and all of these things, so that if that ever happens, you're prepared for it. And we never really dreamed that it would happen, but I'm thankful that I know these things, but it also makes it more difficult in some ways, because we do know these things and we do know what could happen or what will happen with treatment, and it's a different kind of fear.